Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Fox Parasite here, going to give you my review slash experiences with the recent game mode called Face Off. Now, most of you know that it's my favorite game mode of all time. Why? Because I love small maps. It's something that I used to love back in Call of Duty 4 with Shipment. I couldn't get enough of that map. I used to play it one-on-ones all the time, and I've, to this date, never lost on that map. I've since retired because I don't really feel like doing them anymore. But that's besides the point. So first off, let's talk about the maps in general. When Face Off first came out, it had 4 maps, 2 of which were free, and the other 2 you had to buy off the store when the map pack came out, or you got them free for Elite. Those 4 maps were Aground, Getaway, Lookout, and Erosion. Now when I first started to play this mode, I realized how beautiful the map design on these maps were, especially with Getaway. It just seemed like they put more effort into the face-off maps than in the other maps in the multiplayer, and some of the standard maps that came with the game. Then they released a few more maps for face-off. While I must admit I was happy when I heard about it, but some of these maps I just really didn't like. For example, Vortex has terrible spawns. About maybe 70% of the time the people are spawning right on the damn barn or by the chicken coop rather than anywhere else on the map. Now listen, I know people complain on how Face Off has terrible spawns in general, but honestly the whole game has terrible spawns, not just in Face Off. The whole Modern Warfare 3 game is the only first-person shooter game that I know has this bad of spawns. Be aware that I am talking about pre-patch before they fixed the spawn logic, which I'll get into that later. Also, Vortex has a few glitches, one being that you can get outside the map and get in the hay barrel and practically become invisible. And there's another one where you can get inside the chicken coop, you could just stand in the chicken coop, walk in through the door, and you will not get hit if someone tries to shoot you through the fence, but you're able to shoot through the fence to kill them. It's just things like that kind of ruin the map for me, with the spawns and all the ridiculous glitches. And as for my favorite map, well, that's kind of easy. It's Getaway. It combines both close quarters and long range while still being a really good map. It's just designed very well for a very balanced game. The spawns aren't even that bad on that one, as in like some of the other maps like Aground and Vortex, so that's a plus. As for how well the game's played on Face Off, well, when it was released, it cycled through a few game modes like Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirm, Search and Destroy, Capture the Flag, Team Defender, and I think something else. But what always confused me is that instead of them just cycling all these throughout like every week, they just stopped at one point. And now we only have Team Deathmatch and Kill Confirmed. Why? Why don't we just have a separate playlist for Face Off that gives us an objective game mode, rather than just having those 2 game modes, Team Deathmatch and Kill Confirmed? I don't really understand that. Why cycle through those game modes if you're not going to have us be able to play them? Most games in Face Off were pretty fast-paced. I mean, there really wasn't many times where there wasn't a kill to be had in like 20 seconds or so. Sure, you do come across some campers every now and then, but that's pretty typical in any game you play, not just in Call of Duty, but you can do that in Battlefield, Sniper Ghost Warrior, Resistance, you know, just any game, there's campers, so it's not worth complaining about. And I have noticed that there are a lot more people that tend to get angry in Face Off than in any other of the modes in Call of Duty. Just because, I don't know, it just seems like we're not allowed to do better than them, so they just go on a rage fit and start cussing people out and sending people death threats over the internet. I never understood that, but whatever. Also, I found that if an enemy team has a decent kill death around mine or even lower, they just decide to back out, and even if it's just higher than mine, or my team, they will back out. Probably, I assume, because they just don't want the challenge and they just want to play really shitty teams. I don't know, I'm just assuming. Face Off is a shotgunner's dream. The close quarters maps like U-Turn, Getaway, Erosion are perfect for shotgunners. Hell, I even got a few AA-12 Moabs in Face Off, one of them being with the silenced AA-12, so that's pretty cool. Overall, the gameplay in Face Off is much more fun and fast-paced in my opinion compared to the regular maps and the regular playlist. That is, if you take out the problems with the spawning and the glitching and Vortex and whatnot. As for 2v2 compared to 3v3, there was some differences, not like terribly major, but I have noticed in 3v3 the game's become more hectic and just a cluster, especially when Domination was in the playlist of Face Off. There was just 6 people running at one flag and throwing grenades, stuns, flashes, and it just became kind of a cluster. Spawn system in 3v3 was definitely much more annoying. I mean, sometimes I kill 2 guys and then the third guy just appears 2 feet away from me and just kills me. Sometimes even if I kill that third guy, the other 2 that I just previously killed will spawn around me. I don't know why that is, it's just whatever. But other than that, there's really not much more of a difference than 3v3 than in 2v2. I mean, yeah, you kind of gotta play a little bit more cautious at times, but honestly, there's not much of a difference. Now let's get into the big problems with Face Off. There was a patch, like I said, that was supposed to fix spawn logic. Yeah, well, that didn't really happen. In fact, they actually made it like 10 times worse. I mean, seriously. I guess Infinity Ward's idea of spawn logic is just the enemy spawning right on top of you instead of 10 feet away like I'm used to. I mean, seriously, just look at some of these clips. Look how ridiculously close the enemy is spawning next to me. How could anyone sit there and say this is a good idea for spawns? In one occasion, my friend killed a guy while he was in the corner. Well, this same guy directly spawned on top of him, pushing him, physically pushing him away, and then killing my friend. Well, guess what? My friend spawned exactly the same, on top of the enemy, and pushing him away. It's just simply just ridiculous. I just don't understand how they could ruin such a game mode so easily just from the spawn system. Spawning shouldn't be that hard to do. Honestly, just have the guy spawn at least half of the map away or across the map away from the guy that killed him. Why is it that hard to do? I mean, it's a million times worse than 3v3 compared to 2v2. They just spawn completely random. It doesn't even matter. They'll spawn behind you, in front of you, up your ass, away from your ass. It's just so ridiculous. And it's pretty sad because it went from being my favorite game mode to something that I wish just kind of went away. Will they repatch this so that they fix all the spawn problems? No, I highly doubt it, just because the game's at the end of its life cycle. Why would they patch it now? I mean, Black Ops 2 comes out in the next 2 months. Shit, I mean, the whole Vortex glitches were well known before this patch was even out. How come they couldn't even fix that? I mean, I got 2 separate 200+ win streaks from Face Off. I'd sure love to go back and play it. But overall, Face Off used to be an amazing game mode, but now that it got that horrific patch, it pretty much ruined the whole mode for me, honestly. I'd rather just play Team TAC or just some other game mode than dealing with all the problems Face Off has now. But thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video, and like, comment, subscribe. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I know some people are going to say, oh, well, it's because the maps are so small, that's why the spawns are so bad. That's a crock, because Call of Duty 4's Shipment, World at War's Dome, hell, even Modern Warfare 2's Rust were much smaller than the face-off maps we have now, and the spawns in those games were far greater than in Modern Warfare 3's, regardless of how big or how small the map was.